Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, Kitty.
Am I audible?
Good morning, Katie.
Yes.
Morning, Kitty.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back. How was your weekend? Anything
Yeah,
done
it's
different?
fine.
Anything done differently? No? Yes. Okay. I kept the course curriculum in WhatsApp also, and I have kept the course curriculum in the chat also. This course curriculum, sir, it's already attached.
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Please do go through it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and requesting everyone, sir, small, just a suggestion, because today we are starting technical content. My sincere request to all of you is you still have around 10 days of time to make a decision. You still have time to make a call, but my request is, meanwhile, sir, in the Zoom session, please try to keep your full name, like Rahul Kamble, right? So it's like full name already there. So it becomes easy for me to connect with you rather than short names, because there could be two Abhilash, two Rohan, two Anils, because we already have two Anils right now. So elaborated name can be really helpful. You just have to right click and rename. With your surname is even better. If you have your surname there, it will register in my mind with a surname. Thank you, Rohan, for changing it. So if you all are searching for the option, there should be a change option. I don't know. Where do you see it? Anyone who has done it can suggest. Thank you, Manikanta.
I think if you click on the three dots, you have an option to rename it.
Okay, everyone, here are the instructions from Rohan. If you click on the three dots, I don't know where those three dots are, but you should have an option to change the name.
And
Whether
one
it is
more option, it's a participants. Is that right, Katie?
okay, click on the participants and more, and you still have a rename option there. Okay, sir. So if all good, so as many people can come on camera would be much more better, but it's okay. Initial days we will be little liberal, but later on. Okay, sir. Shall we get started? Did anybody miss the introductions, or because I have your introductions also? Did anybody miss the introduction part? Hey, Katie, I did not introduce myself. Anyone like that, sir? Anybody like that who has missed the introduction part? Okay, cool. If everybody has introduced. Yeah. So try to connect from single device. It's much more easier and helpful. please try to connect with a single device, because I'll also know how many people are there in the class, how many people are turning up. So whatever challenges are there, try to fix them. But initial days, it's okay. But later on, please try to connect with a single device. Okay, thank you, Wali, for changing the name. So then I think, you've been waiting for last Wednesday and Thursday and Friday when the technical content will start, right? So are we good? Shall we get started? Okay, that's give me just a minute. Let me bring something on the screen. Sharing my screen. Almost there, sir. Almost there. Okay, now you should be seeing my screen share. Let me know once you see my screen share.
Yep, we can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, KD, we can see.
Technically welcome. Okay. So as you know, this journey is going to be all about SQL Server. Some of you might not know this. Maybe you're hearing this for the first time. So SQL Server, whenever we say database in the current market, right? At the end of the day, this course is all about databases. You will learn how to handle mission critical, business critical, real-time enterprises, companies using databases. That is what you're going to learn. So meaning in future, you're going to handle so-called organizations databases. That's why we are into one place. Of course, we have experienced people already. We also have new friends learning it. Keeping everybody in mind, sir, I'll be pretty much going from fundamental. Okay, this is batch number 42. And we always count our batches. Happy to say, in the last 15 years, this is our 42nd batch. 15 years it has been. 2007 we started KDSSG. Okay, and so it's a long journey, but anyways, today's journey is not about KDSSG's journey. It is SQL Server's journey. Okay, sir. Now, if you can see there, SQL Server is a database product. Of course, it belongs to Microsoft. Microsoft is the company owning it. But it has some story with it. It has a small story, which you all should know. The first version of SQL Server is not 2005. See, if you can see, right, the journey which we are talking about is from SQL Server 2005, the older version, to 2019, the latest version. That's this year, Microsoft is launching 2022. So SQL Server 2005, the older version, 2022 is going to be released, still not released. We are expecting that SQL Server 2022 may come by November. This is as per the update I have from one of the Microsoft friends, and I think Microsoft is going to release by that time. So, KD, so 2005 is not the first version. Then why are you talking about 2005? Meaning, sir, we are going to talk the journey, sir. We are going to talk Microsoft journey. First of all, I'm sure everybody in this room knows that Microsoft is famous for Windows operating systems. Okay, chalo, Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I mean, that's Microsoft. That's the area of Microsoft. So sorry to say, not only that, Microsoft has got a lot of business, lot of different types of businesses they have. Windows is one of the business. Microsoft Office is one of the business. Like that, they have many more. And so in those parallel stream wings, database is also one of the business. And so Xbox gaming, it is also one of the business. Can somebody tell me What is Microsoft into? Different types of businesses, sir. Any inputs? Of course, operating systems, Office products like Excel, PowerPoint, these all stuff. Gaming,
Cloud.
gaming, definitely yes. Games.
Cloud.
Cloud, Azure cloud. That's
Yes.
a huge revenue for Microsoft as of now.
Mobiles.
Sorry, sir. Operating system, already I said.
Mobiles.
They used to have mobiles, but now they acquired Nokia. Again, not a complete acquisition. They acquired Nokia to some extent, sir, but later on they left it off. So it's now they don't own any mobile section. So you're right, sir. On the same, they have Surface, they have laptops. They sell laptops. Perfect. Good ones. Thank you.
Search engine.
Sorry, sir.
Search engine.
Search engine. So like Google, Microsoft has Bing, B-I-N-G. That's also one of the products. Maybe not be very super products, but okay. I mean to say not a huge revenue generating, but okay. Bing. Anything you can think of? Anything else you can think of? Okay, sir. Let's do one thing. Just a minute. Sir, I mean, if you go and Google for what is Microsoft into, sir, Microsoft is into different types of businesses. 1 second. Give me a minute. I'm not wasting time. Just a minute. There are so many companies, there are so many sub companies in Microsoft. This is what I want to show you. Yeah. So I'll zoom for a better view for all of you. Yeah, look at this one. Microsoft is into cloud. Microsoft is into devices, meaning, sir, they have their own phone hardware now gone, but it was there. Commercial licensing options they have. Personal computing, PCs they have. And I think gaming and hardware they have. Business products they have, like Microsoft Office, laptop, operating systems. So, I mean, these are the major products. I think more than that, if you can look into Microsoft's own revenue, give me a minute, sir. There will be a chart which I wanted to show you. 1 minute, sir. Or wait, let's not waste time. Let's go to images, which will give direct picture. 2021 data. So look at this one, sir. What is their main revenue generation model? You only see it. See, sir. So yes, Microsoft Office. This is latest data only, 2021. So 57% of Microsoft revenue comes from Office products, Excel, PowerPoint, Office 365, lot of products combination. They get 57% of revenue of Microsoft comes from here. Another 9% from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also Microsoft product now. 15%, I mean to say. Office consumers, another 9%. And another Dynamics and other products, 19%. So, I mean, Dynamics / other, the Microsoft Dynamics is one more product that they have. So all in all, sir, if you keep checking different images, you will get different answers. But finally, what I'm trying to tell is Microsoft is making revenue from these. This is 2019 data, if you want to see. Yeah. Gaming, 9%. Search, meaning search engine. Office commercial, 22%. Server products, meaning cloud services, Azure, 26%. So the Windows, 18%. LinkedIn, 5%. It's growing year over year. So, but again, Surface, 5%, laptop, gaming, 9%. So what I'm trying to tell is, I'm not wasting time again. I just want to let you know that SQL Server product that you are learning, SQL Server, falls under which we are learning, falls under which category? SQL Server falls under which product category? This 26%.
Server products.
Server products, right? For server, whatever, for companies, for customers, they create this product. So SQL Server comes under here. So what I'm trying to tell is Azure, SQL Server, all these are huge revenue generation. So what we are learning, the course that we are learning has a value, has got good market, has got good market value. So what you are learning is it's a great product of Microsoft. I'm not trying to do any publicity here. I'm not a brand ambassador of Microsoft, but just letting you know that we are on the right track. Okay, wait 1 minute. One more thing I want to show you. So KD, if I am learning SQL Server, that's fine. SQL Server databases. Okay, what if I don't learn SQL Server? If I don't learn this one, what are my other options in the markets? End of the day, if you want to become a DBA, database administrator, if you don't learn this one, what are our other options? Oracle, DB2. So there are so many products. So the list is too long. I will show you the list in few more slides. The list is too long. Too many databases are there. Too many databases are there in the market. Now, if you ask me which one is number one, which database product in the world is number one right now?
Microsoft
Oracle.
Kumaraswamy
Oracle.
said Oracle. Abhilash said Oracle. Am I right, Abhilash? You said Oracle, right, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we still heard two more answers called SQL Server. So anyways, sir, now that's a big debate. Oracle is number one. SQL Server is number one. So, okay. So somebody has to decide, right? Who is number one? Who is number two? So if you really go and search, world's best okay, so all these are the different databases in the market. Got it? SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres. So there are so many. I think the debate will not stop. So the list also will not stop. It's a huge list. So let's hold it off. But sir, how do you rank? What is number one? What is number two? So the best way of ranking is by market research. So some company must do the market research and tell that, hey, we observed this, revenue wise this much, sales wise this much, growth wise this much. Some company must evaluate and decides. So that company is nothing but Gartner. There are many companies, but Gartner, Gartner, Gartner is one of the companies in the world whose job is to research and find out. So they create a magic quadrant. Quadrant means a quadrant, so four classifications, magic quadrant. So if you can go to Gartner's magic quadrant, I'll just show as a picture. So I'll just show you as a picture. Just watch this. If you go and see Gartner's magic quadrant, 1 minute, just bear patience. Okay, or just watch this image. So if you're watching this image, right, these are 20, this is 2021 data, sir. Magic quadrant for meeting solutions. Meeting solutions means Zoom, the one that we are using. So that means Gartner is one company which will take category by category. In meeting solutions like collaboration tools like Zoom, Teams, I don't know if any other products are there. So which one stands number one? So what they do, they create 4 quadrants. Left side are challengers, right side are leaders, bottom right are visionaries, and bottom left are niche players. So that means they will evaluate all the companies and look at this right now. Microsoft, again, which one do you think is number one in the list now? So you should look at ability to execute. You should look at completeness of vision. So if you technically see almost all 3 are together. So yeah, still Zoom stands a little better in the position compared to all. Got it? So like that, what I'm saying is, let's go and see the Gartner report of what's a databases field, not every other Gartner report. So what I'll do, magic quadrant, databases. Okay, Then if you do that, you will get you can see, I mean, all that data can be seen. This is which year's data? 2020. You're looking for 2021 or 2022. 1 minute, sir. Please excuse me. Maybe 2022 is not released yet, but 2021 for sure. So, sir, again, please wait and watch. This is important. Before I start the content, I just want to prove and tell that Microsoft stands #1 in the race. Okay, clear, sir? Any questions? Or this is Gartner report of 2021 as of December. So Microsoft stands #1. Oracle is behind the race, and you can check some other. So there are many research, many things you can talk about, but I'll stop the topic here. Have you understood what I'm trying to tell? So what we are learning is absolutely a good product. First point. Second, it's #1 product. You accept or not, it's #1 product. Oracle is behind the race. They are struggling to catch up the pace, but somehow, okay, the race is on. This is cloud specific. Okay, what I'm showing you is cloud specific. On premises also I'll show. Normal database. This is cloud specific databases. Normal databases also I'll show. They're also SQL Server. Microsoft will be #1. SQL Server stands late. Oracle stands late. Okay, no more boring stuff. Shall I get back to the content? So what are the 2 points we are trying to conclude here? First one, what you are learning is a #1 product. Second main point, what you are learning is one of the biggest revenue generation for Microsoft. 26% of the market share as per 2019 data, not even the latest data. 26%. Now it's even more. So what we are learning is one of the huge revenue generation model for Microsoft. So they will keep extreme focus on this product. Microsoft SQL Server is a very, very important product for Microsoft. That's all. That's all I wanted to tell. Nothing more. I could have, but showing data and speaking is better rather than just talking. Okay. So now, finally, sir, what are we starting now? So first of all, oops. So we have to talk a story now. So I'll quickly move on. 1985. So this all started in 1985. Microsoft SQL Server started in 1985. That is why we'll start from that year. Are we good? I'm sure most of you are not born by that time. Some of you might be. I was born. So most of you are not born by that time. So let's move on. So 1985, this journey started. Okay. So first of all, there's a small story I really want to tell you. In 1985, sir, in the year of 1985, Microsoft and IBM. At that time, Microsoft probably was a small company, right? It's not a huge company, at least. It was a okay types company. Okay. And then, sir, Microsoft and IBM ventured together. They came together. To do what? To create something, sir. But Katie, hold on. So in 1985, IBM was already a very big company. I repeat, in 1985, IBM was already a very big company. Microsoft was kind of a budding, starting up company. It's not a startup, definitely, a little better than startups. Okay, it's an emerging company. So what IBM said that, hey, Microsoft, I see a potential in you. Let's collaborate, let's work, let's make operating systems, they said. You and I will work together and make operating systems, OS, operating systems. Is it clear? Like you have operating systems, right, sir? Android operating system. Okay, that half-bitten Apple operating system, or maybe what else? Windows operating system, Linux operating system. So like that, sir. Back in those days, Microsoft was developing an operating system. Okay, not okay. Clear? Which points? Yes, sir.
According to me, like I think Bill Gates' mother was on IBM's board of directors, right?
So, sir, there's a small recent videos and some things emerging. I also saw that, Rahul, recently. So how did Microsoft directly get such a big jackpot? Because Microsoft was an emerging company. How does IBM trust Microsoft so much and get that association, sir? So Bill Gates' mother was a lawyer, I think, and she was an advisor for IBM. She had some good connects in IBM. Rahul, you're right, sir. And because of that contact, things worked out. Okay, done, sir. Shall we move on? Yes, sir. Everyone, if you all are okay.
Yeah, KD.
Yes, Kiran.
So the only request is, because I am not seeing you guys on camera, at least whomever I'm seeing, good, at least I'm seeing you. Whom I'm not seeing, sir, that's why I always keep asking, are we good? Are we good? And again, are we good? Huh? So, chalo, let's move on. I'm sharing my screen again. I wantedly stopped it. There. Okay, done, sir. So as I said, in simple words, sir, once upon a time in 1985, so IBM was one company, Microsoft was another company, collaborated, right? They announced, sir, they said that let's work together, and the product that they made, right, the operating system that they made is called as OS2. Okay, sir, OS2. OS2 means it's a name of the operating system. KD, talk about databases. What are you talking? Says, please, this is a story. Says, you need to listen to this story first. So IBM and Microsoft came together and made OS2 operating system. Right? I think, sir, if you look at that, is this picture visible? Yeah, it's one of, if you go and Google, you'll also find it, sir. From the shelves, you can see about data. So that was an operating system. Nowadays, operating system looks better. But those days, this is how operating systems used to look like, right, sir? Copyright IBM company, right? IBM company and copyright Microsoft. So IBM and Microsoft worked together and made this OS2 operating system. Operating system /2. That's why it's called as in short OS2. Any questions? Okay, good. So then what happened? So after that, IBM sold OS2, meaning, so actually both of them were working together, right? So what is a deal? They have to sell the operating system also together, right? To make some revenues, benefits to the company. But unfortunately, it happened the other way around. IBM sold the software operating system by giving a product free. They said, okay, we are selling SQL Server. Sorry, excuse me. We are selling OS2 operating system and we are giving database free with it. And now Microsoft is also selling the operating system, sir. They don't have anything free. So obviously brew is the most sold coffee in India. Reason? It always comes with something free, sir, a cup or a glass or something. That's why brew is the most sold coffee in India, plus the taste as well. So technically what I'm saying, sir, is that Microsoft took the deal, but unfortunately the deal was taken by IBM more. IBM got more benefited and Microsoft was like, So, sir, both of them started facing business challenges and they filed a lawsuit. Microsoft did a case against IBM. Let me mute everyone. Yeah, so Microsoft has put a case on them, sir. And by the way, again, if you go and search on Google, on the shelves, you will see this. This is one of the newspaper cuttings of 1992, 1985. They started, right? They had enough fights. In 1992, IBM and Microsoft settled out of the court, sir. The court did not, but out of the court they have settled. Okay. So if I'll share this. You can read, if you have time and patience, read this entire paragraph. You'll come to know what I'm saying. So clear, sir? Any questions? This is on New York Times of 1992 paper. So what? So what's that? That's it. Everything is fair in business. Everything is fair in love, and everything is fair in war, right? So anyway, sir, now Microsoft, that was the expression. IBM, Microsoft, second expression. Let's see, a revenge, right? They wanted to take a revenge. So what can Microsoft do now to take this revenge? What else? Yeah, what else they can do? So Microsoft, so remember, IBM did what? Gave a database free with it. Database free. So then Microsoft thought that, okay, these guys have given us a back stab based on database. So we will also get into database market because IBM, so by the way, whatever database software IBM gave free at that time, right? Okay, again, I'll mute everyone. Somebody's not on mute. Yeah, so the database Microsoft gave free at the database IBM gave free in those days. Sir. Today, it is still there. It is called as DB2. IBM DB2. It's still in the market right now. So anyway, sir, see, on June 12th, 1998, Microsoft joined hands with another company called Sybase. Microsoft joined hand with another company called Cybase and said that, hey, Cybase, we want to work on databases with you. So, sir, Microsoft never had plans on database. Microsoft was not a database company at all. Not at all a database company. Microsoft was always hands-on, very strong in operating systems. So then, so this comes out of revenge. The product comes, I don't know, maybe revenge is a big word, but they felt like, okay, let us venture into these databases. So Sybase was the company that Microsoft joined. Sybase and Microsoft did a business. And by the way, they developed what? Databases. And they created this word called SQL Server. Okay, these two companies came together. So first version, sir, the first version of Microsoft SQL Server and served as Microsoft entry into market was, and moreover, the main idea was to compete against Oracle. At that time, Oracle was already in market. So by the way, Oracle was, is, will be a database company from the beginning. The day they formed, they had very clear and clarity and vision. They were a database company from the day one till now. Larry Ellison, excuse me. Larry Ellison is a CEO of Oracle. Okay, done, sir. Anyways, leave all that part. So anyways, sir, Microsoft wanted to compete with Oracle, IBM, Informix, Ingress, all these companies in those days, sir. That's why they also ventured into database. Any questions anybody have to know, sir? Else I'll move on. So why databases is the story. Okay then. So today, of course, Microsoft is #1 database software in the market. You saw the Gartner report, and I can show you other Gartner reports also. And I can show you last 7 years Gartner reports. 7 years Gartner's reports I can show you, where SQL Server is a step ahead of Oracle. Oracle is considered as #1 database, no doubt about it. Abhilash, I think you're right, sir. And Kumaraswamy, you're also absolutely right. And by the way, I worked as an Oracle DBA for 10 years. So I have respect for Oracle. I have respect for SQL Server, no doubt. This is only for fun, I'm saying. But still, sir, and the fact and the reality is SQL Server is #1 database in the market today. Crossed all this, but it took time, sir. It took time. Trust doesn't come quickly, right? It takes time. Any questions? Then no, I'm moving on. So these are the different versions. So Microsoft journey started from where? 1.0, the first version. Am I making sense? 1.0, the first version. SQL Server 1.0, then 1.1, then 4.2a, 4.2b, and then 4.21a, 6.0, 6.5, 7.0, 8.0, and so stop. After 8.0, what Microsoft did is, are you seeing the names here? SQL Server 1.0, SQL Server 1.1, SQL Server 4.2a, 4.2b, 4.21a, 6.0, 6.5, 7.0. So in the year 2000, Microsoft took a decision. They changed the product names with year name, meaning SQL Server 2000, the year, whichever year it is, that year. And then, sir, in 2006, they launched officially though, but SQL Server 2005 is what they call that product. Then in 2008 came SQL Server 2008. In 2010 year came SQL Server 2008 R2, release 2. And then in SQL Server 2012, year 2012 came SQL Server 2012, 14, 16, 17, 19. These are the versions of SQL Server. 2022 will come in this list this year. These are the different versions. And so, by the way, some years become historical, right? 1947 in India scenario. Historical years. Right? Like that, for SQL Server, the historical year is 2005. Year 2005. Reasons, sir. Of course, before 2005, they had 2007, all these versions, no doubt. But the recognition, the trust, the value, the whatever, sir, whatever masala adjectives you want to add, you can add. But the real value of SQL Server was started from 2005. Reason, there's a small reason, because they adapted, they made it more graphic friendly, more rich in interface. Some things, when I show you the installation, I will tell you what all things they have done. But technically 2005 got the value. And so one important thing to tell you all, I started working from SQL Server almost, I would not say 7.0, I would say 2000 for sure. SQL Server 2000. So my journey starts with SQL Server 2000. Of course, I mean, in Office, I have supported even older versions also. But officially, if you ask me which year I started, around 2000, 2002. So that's it. Yes, I'm old. So that's all. Yes, Imran, you're saying something.
Yes, KD. So in 1985, so OS2 was a product of IBM, I guess, right? IBM and also Microsoft. So how that Microsoft alone come with the same product, like the name I'm talking about.
Which one, sir? OS2? No. So actually, why it's saying OS2 in the brackets is what you are saying, right? So this SQL Server was created for So by the way, every database that we make, every database that Microsoft makes, it will work for some operating system. So SQL Server 1.0 was designed for OS2, Unix operating systems. SQL Server 1.1 was also designed for OS2 operating system. 4.2 and 4.2 A and B, sir, both of them also were designed for OS2 operating system. Later on, what they did, Microsoft launched Windows. So from there, they said, we will work on Windows exclusively. So the initial days, sir, up to 1993, up to that year, because in the market, OS2 was there. People were using operating system, OS2. That's why they made SQL Server for OS2. Later on, they made it for, so the name is not same, sir. The name is SQL Server. Everyone, did you hear Mohammad's question? It is like, Microsoft was, sir, by the way, the joke is, let me tell you something. The joke is the first initial operating systems for which initial SQL servers are for which operating systems are OS2. Okay. So after that, Microsoft SQL Server 6.0, 6.5, 7.0, 2000, 2005, 2008, 8R2, 12, 14, 16, stop. Up to 16, all these in the middle, sir, were for Windows operating system only. They are only for Windows. Okay. In 2017, sir, that means Satya Nadella became the CEO in 2014 or 2015, I think. After he came, he gave the team some time and said that I want to see SQL Server for Unix. So in 2017, sir, SQL Server operating system, SQL Server database is available for Unix operating system. So not only for Windows, last two versions, 17 and 19, you have for Unix also, which we will see in future sessions. I'll show you. So initially OS2, later on all Windows, recently again Unix. So Microsoft SQL Server works on Unix operating system also, Windows also. So why and all that we'll discuss later. But any questions anybody have on this screen? So because this screen shows you all the versions, that's all. No, I'm not trying to confuse anybody here. Don't remember the years, don't remember the dates, don't care about anything else. Just look at this middle column here, release name. That tells you what are the different, how SQL Server has evolved. That's what I'm trying to tell.
Can you just tell us like why the jump from 1.1 to 4.2a?
So again, that could be Microsoft internal reasons. We don't know, because again, that too, we're talking about 1990 years. Sir. We don't know. And again, then you should ask one more question, sir. If you observe a pattern here, 2008, 2010, they had a release. 2012, they have a release. 14, they have a release. 16, almost if you notice, sir, every 2 years, they're releasing a new version. But again, in 2017, but they have it released only after 1 year immediately. So again, that all are business reasons of Microsoft, internal reasons, sir. We don't. So, sir, 1 minute. Let's talk from, I always want you to remember from 2005, sir. SQL Server 2005. After that, next question is 2008. After 8, it is 8R2. After 8R2, it is 12. After 12, it is 14. After 14, it is 16. After 16, it is 17. After 17, it is 19. So remember the versions of SQL Server, sir. These are called as versions of SQL Server. Hope it is clear for everyone. I hope there are no questions.
What is this internal database version?
So we'll discuss, because we are still not there yet. As of today, my sincere request would be, let's focus only on the release names. What is internal database version? So whenever you create one database inside SQL Server, one database, every database, for example, I'm creating database in 2005, in version 2005. If I'm creating a database, the database will have 611 or 612 as a version number. Every database has internally version number. If I move that database, if I upgrade that database from 2005 to 2019, example I'm saying, okay, if I upgrade, then you will see the internal version number changing to 895. So when you look at the internal database version, there are some commands for that. If you look at it, sir, you'll come to know, oh, okay, this database belongs to 2005, or this database belongs to which version, you can tell. That we will do later.
And I have another question too. Windows, like we have Windows 10, Windows 8, like this is good. No? In Windows 5, like that way, can we install this SQL 2019 version in Windows 5? Or only this
in Windows what, sir? In Windows what?
Operating service means this also updating now, like Windows.
Okay, very good question.
5, 10.
So everyone, did you hear what Rashekar has been asking? So KD, I have SQL Server 2019, my latest version. 2019 is the latest version, right, sir? Can I install SQL Server 2019, the latest version, in old operating system, older ones? Old operating systems, like we have Windows 11 now. Microsoft recently launched Windows 11. I'm sure your laptops have Windows 11 or Windows 10 or Windows 8.1 or Windows 8 or Windows 7, Windows XP, Windows ME, we don't know, sir, whatever operating system you are using. So SQL Server 2019, can it be installed in older operating systems? Answer would be no. There is a limit, sir. You can install to some versions, but not older. But anyways, that topic we will cover during installation topic. That's our next topic. We'll cover in installations. So one second. Only version of SQL Server that has released twice, meaning 2008, and the second one is what's a 2008 R2 release 2. Okay, don't ask me why, because I don't know the reasons why it was released as R2 release 2, sir. Can you tell me some names, movies which were really re-released? Some movie names that were re-released. Famous in India, DDLJ, Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. It was re-released multiple times. Titanic was re-released. Sorry, sir? Kannada, Upendra's movie, right? Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
Shiva.
So what was that?
Shiva.
Which Shiva?
Old.
No. Which Shiva? Oh, okay. RGV is Shiva, Telugu one. Okay, got it. So 4. I don't know if it was re-released. I didn't know that. Okay, 4. So, Mughal Azam, sir. Mughal Azam was digitally remastered, colored. Maya Bazaar was remastered, colored. All these were re-released movies. Oh, okay. Anything else? One Kannada movie also was recently colored and released. I forgot the movie name, but yeah. Okay, you got my point, right? So almost R2 is like recoloring, readjusting, adding some colors and effects and all that, just re-releasing. So R2 was like, okay, a re-released version. So between 2008 and 8 R2, you will not find a significant difference. A big class difference you will not find. So minimum difference you will find, which we will talk later, not right now. Okay, so with that, sir, I am done. So versions of SQL Server. So you all know what are versions of SQL Server. SQL Server started with 2005. Wrong. SQL Server started with 1.0, 1.1. So, you know, that crap, leave it, sir. We are not for this, not ignore it. So SQL Server 2005 onwards, you talk. 2005, 2008, 8 R2, 12, 14, 16, 17, 19. Are you all clear with this version numbers? One more thing I want you to know, sir, but again, not an important thing that you should know really. So whenever Microsoft releases a version of SQL Server, they want to release, what they do, they work on it 2 years before, 2 or 3 years before. What it's a before releasing the product, they work on 2 to 3 years. So for 2 to 3 years, they should need a name, right? They would need a name. So what they do, they use a code name. So if you go and talk to any Microsoft employee and say, how is Seattle? I mean, not now, sir, in 2017 or 2017, if you go to a Microsoft employee and say, hey, how is Seattle going on? They'll think like, how does this guy know our internal name? So it's a code name, sir. So like production, for all the movies they put, right? Production number 1, production number 21. I mean, movie names are having a code names nowadays. And then again, when the release time, the name might change. So like that's a code names for SQL Server. No need to remember any of the code names, sir. But I just wanted you to observe that there is a code name called. Okay. One of our KDSSG friends, very oldest batch, because they have love for SQL Server. His son name is Yukon. This one is 2005. So very old batch. His son name is not official name, sir, nickname at home. Whenever I call him, I say, hey, how is Yukon doing? He says, Yukon is doing good. So that's the code name of SQL Server. Any questions? And let's move on. So the next thing you should know now is, you know versions of SQL Server, correct? Okay, perfect. Next topic, which is important to notice is just a minute. This is taking time to load. So the next one is, what is SQL Server? I mean, fine. Now you know versions of SQL Server. Versions of SQL Server, you know. Our next agenda is to understand what is SQL Server. What is the necessity of SQL Server? With SQL Server, what can we do? An answer is on the screen, sir. SQL Server is a database product. What can you do? You can store data in it. You can retrieve data from it. You can modify data. So all that, so it's typically a database. SQL Server is a database. Just like other database products, mainly a database products, mainly a database. Okay, so SQL Server is a database software developed by Microsoft. Okay, now, so what happens in database software? Just please, everybody watch. Please focus. So now there will be different clients. Okay, nowadays you are using mobile, so ignore mobiles. A laptop or PC, something you might be using. You will connect to a server. Your data will be stored in the servers. And this is called as client-server model. Client and server model. So all your databases will be stored in the server. That means, sir, whatever course you all are doing now, you will be dealing with servers. Please understand. This is not a SQL Server software you're installing on a laptop, right? It's not for laptop. It's for enterprises. It's for companies. So you will have to use servers. Obviously, you will use servers. And tomorrow, say in future, you will build the servers, which we will discuss in our due course in level 2. Level 2 will talk more about building servers. So technically, you will be following a client and server model. Is that okay, sir? Yes, no, all right. Okay. So if you can read the abbreviation here, this is a software mainly used for storing and retrieving data over the network. And the data is present always at the server level. Clients will read the data or modify the data and so on and so forth. Okay. Then KD, the same data I can keep in an Excel sheet also, right? Yes, of course, sir. The same data I can store in a Word document also, right? Yes, you can, sir. But there are benefits of storing that in a database. You will come to know when I tell the story. Okay. So first of all, you understood first thing. So versions of SQL Server, are you clear? Perfect. Now the next topic is components of SQL Server. Components. So when I say components, inside SQL Server, what is there? So I told you just now, SQL Server contains what? The first line? Databases. SQL Server is a database. Whoever thinks that SQL Server is a database, stop. SQL Server is not just a database. Along with database, it has analysis services. Along with analysis services, it has integration services. Along with integration services, it has got reporting services. So please understand, SQL Server is not just a database. It is beyond a database. Now, our idea is to understand what are these things? What are these for? What is database services? What is, maybe today we'll not be able to complete it, sir, but definitely we'll talk tomorrow. But we are just warming up. Please understand, we are warming up. So database services, analysis services, integration services, reporting services. So this is an interview question for your kind information. What are versions of SQL Server, which you already are aware? SQL Server 2005 onwards, you can always speak because 2005 stands as a benchmark year. 2005, 8, 8R2, 12, 14, 16, 17, 19, and 2022 next. These are versions of SQL Server. Now, what we are talking about is components of SQL Server. So inside SQL Server, what are the components? So please tell me the components of a car. Engine, the structure, the frame of the car, right? On which the wheels and everything sit, the top sits. So frame, engine, tires. Sorry, sir. The frame of the car, first of all, iron frame or whatever.
Chassis.
The chassis, boot, seats. I mean, you can keep talking, sir. Dashboard, front dashboard, sunroof if you have anything. So, you can keep talking. There are many components for a car. So now, can a car run without these components? Definitely not. Every component is important. Some components are optional, sir, of course. Right? AC is not compulsory, right? Okay. It might be compulsory, but at least that's an exemption. You can exempt it off. So like that, sir, here in SQL Server, there are 4 components mainly. First one, database services, which is the core where you store the data. Second one is analysis services, which we will discuss tomorrow. Third one is integration services, which again we will discuss tomorrow. Fourth one is reporting services, which we will talk tomorrow. So ideally, if you look at the course curriculum, which I have shared with you, let me step back. So tomorrow we'll talk about these all 4 components one by one. So let me step back, take you to, so look at the curriculum once. It shouldn't take more than a minute, sir. I've already shared it with you all. Please open it later. Still loading. So look at this. I mean, what we are discussing is just what I want to show you. First, we started with history, right? We are still here. We are doing this. So did we cover version? So we might not go in the strict order. We don't. We might jump here and there. So, but did we talk about? Sorry. Did we talk about history of SQL Server? Meaning, why did it evolve? Where did it evolve from? Which companies were involved? IBM, Microsoft. Again, IBM and Microsoft and Sybase venturing. So we did discuss about history. We talked about versions of SQL Server. Yes, we did. Okay. Components. Yes, we are going to talk tomorrow. Additions. Yeah, we will discuss gradually. So one by one, we will discuss all this.
KD, one question here. Like why did Sybase part ways with Microsoft?
Why did?
Sybase part way with Microsoft.
Okay, so now there's a small story which is pending. Let me keep it for suspense for tomorrow.
Okay.
Or rather, let's talk now itself, sir. See, why did Microsoft and Sybase break up then? Break up only, sir. Let's call it break up. Posh word. So why did Sybase and Microsoft break up? So what happened? Okay, so IBM and Microsoft were having not comfortable business times, right? So they departed. Microsoft felt like IBM cheated. So same thing here, right? So Sybase felt like Microsoft is not giving the fair, that's what history says. The exact reasons, I don't know, Rahul, because we were not there. Whatever history says is what we believe, right? So on a technical front, sir, so what they say is Sybase did not receive the value that it wanted, and hence they were like departed. And so later on, Microsoft started developing SQL Server for Windows. Microsoft said, hey, you and I will depart. I will handle SQL Server for Windows. You handle SQL Server for Linux. You develop your own, I will develop my own. So they have departed ways. So exact reason, then I don't know. That's it. This is a story of Microsoft, the story of Microsoft with IBM, Microsoft with Sybase. And so later on, of course, by the way, we always proudly say we have evolved from Sybase. Sybase, Microsoft, hey, by the way, anybody wants to learn Sybase software after learning SQL Server, if you learn Sybase, it will be very, very easy for you because whatever concepts we have, so they also have same concepts. Learning Sybase is easy for a SQL Server DBA. Here and there concepts are same because we evolved from there. So that's all. I don't have.
Sybase is like MySQL, right? Or
No. Sybase is another database product in the market. So Sybase is one more. Sybase is one more. Another database like Oracle. Sybase is one more company.
Is it open source?
No, Sybase is not open source. Sir. It's not open source. It is normal closed source.
Okay.
If somebody is listening, what is open source and closed source? So open source means you can go and modify that software and create your own with it. Like MySQL. MySQL is an open source database. Let's say Rahul can go and make code changes to that software, and Rahul can make Rahul SQL. It's his own. He can make it. So my open source databases are where you can go and make changes to the code. So code is available. Closed source means like Microsoft SQL Server is a closed source. Nobody can modify the SQL Server software. You can use it. You can't modify it. Others, whoever don't know this open source and closed source names, just telling you, closed source means you can use WhatsApp. So you can modify, you can't modify WhatsApp. Right? Why did Elon Musk purchase Twitter?
Because we can't modify Twitter.
Exactly, sir. And what is my Elon Musk next plan? To make it open source.
Yeah.
Elon Musk next plan is the freedom. Anybody can use an open source. He wants to make it open to people. Twitter is like restricted now. You don't have a free speech in Twitter, on Twitter. There is no free speech. That's why this guy has invested, oh my God, huge $46 billion to give freedom to people. God knows what is that. But again, so there are some business strategies behind that. Let's not go into that conversation. But yeah, so open source is like Twitter will become very shortly open source. They are working on that. Meaning Maheshwari can take a Twitter code and develop her own Twitter if she wants to. When that's the plan. Or you can openly post your code as well and make Twitter even better. Sir. People can go and collaborate with Twitter and make Twitter better. So that's the plan Twitter has. Open source. Okay. So yeah, so again, don't know exact reason, Rahul, why this guy's departed. But technically, the value that Sybase wanted, they have not got. That's what the history says. Okay, sir. So by the way, sir, technical content started. Don't think that we are passing time. No. This is history, sir, because we need to understand where this comes from. Second point, sir, we need to understand the versions, the components, and then we will start installation directly. So hardly in another 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 days maximum, you should be seeing installation starting. The first 2 days, I leave it for warm up. Okay, that's all, sir. That's all. Yes.
KD, just a small question here. Can you just brief us on difference between DBMS and RDBMS?
No. So actually, 1 minute, please. Okay, 1 minute. Sir. If you can look at this one now, what is DBMS? What is RDBMS? What is difference between that, sir? We are yet to discuss. We have not talked about it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So we only talked about SQL Server story. Tomorrow we'll have to talk about database story.
And just like as you say that Microsoft said that IBM cheated them when they sell free free database. So did Microsoft develop that, or IBM was developing?
No. That was purely whatever was given free with OS2 operating system was
Right.
IBM's product. So they only sold it.
So why Microsoft felt that they haven't cheated?
So the reason is, see, now you and I have developed a product together.
Right.
And again, the idea was to sell it together, probably. Again, this is what, again, history says.
Right.
Facts we don't know. So if you are selling your own and I'm selling my own, and there is a collaboration problem here. So that's what I'm talking about. So that coordination problem, I'm sorry, not collaboration, coordination problem.
Okay.
So that would have triggered. And maybe I'm sure, see, after spending so much time, if you don't make huge revenue, everybody will be like hurt.
Right.
And that's why they didn't see any profit in that business. They moved on. And plus they filed a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Moreover. Hey, when I send that content, right? So you read that screenshot, that point. I read the material one by one. You also read it. You'll come to know
Okay, sure.
what challenges they had.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anything else, sir, for today? Then I think we will wrap up today's class tomorrow. So again, class timing is 6:15 to 7:30. I had some Zoom issues this morning, but normally the class will start sharp at 6:15. 6:15. Initial days will be a little liberal, but whenever the class starts, I'll put a WhatsApp message saying that class started. Initial days, later on, no. Initial days, I'll put that class started. Then you can see it and join accordingly. Done?
Sure, KD.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Welcome to KDSSG.
Thank you.
This is our
Bye-bye.
first technical class. The date to be counted, 30th May. Okay. So, done.
Sure.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Welcome, everyone. Talk to you
Thank you.
tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Signing off. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, KD.
Bye. Sir.
Thank you.